Nia Carter shuffled off the Tokyo red-eye, her blazer crisp despite 10 hours in the air. Atlanta's airport buzzed, humid and loud. She dreamed of hugging Maya, her daughter, when 2 white cops loomed, sneering. "You don't belong here." One spat, slurs flying. Before Nia could protest, cuffs bit her wrists, the crowd gasping. Phones filmed. She demanded a call, dialed a number, and whispered a code. The cops froze, faces pale. One call sparked a war she'd never escape. Why? Her? Nia Carter's wrists ached, the steel cuffs digging into her skin as Officer Dale Thornton shoved her through a dented metal door. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport sprawled outside, but here, in this windowless holding room, the world shrank to flickering fluorescent bulbs and a sour stench of sweat and bleach. The air clung heavy, 90 degrees despite the rattling vent. Her blazer, once crisp from the Tokyo flight, hung wrinkled, smeared with dust from the concourse floor. She straightened her spine, forcing calm. Those cops had flinched at her Pentagon. Call? Help was coming. It had to. Thornton, a burly man in his 50s with a red face and a buzz cut graying at the temples, kicked a folding chair toward her. Its legs screeched against the concrete. "Sit down," he growled, his voice thick with southern grit. His badge glinted under the light, number 735 etched sharp. Beside him, Officer Ryan Holt hovered, younger, maybe 30, his thin frame twitching with nervous energy. Holt's blue eyes darted to Thornton, craving approval, his badge 1124 catching Nia's glance. She eased into the chair, her laptop bag, still clutched from the gate, slumping beside her. Every muscle screamed for rest, but she locked eyes, with Thornton refusing to blink. "What's this about, officers?" she asked, voice steady, though her pulse hammered. "I've done nothing wrong." Thornton smirked, leaning against a chipped table, arms crossed over his flak jacket. His gut strained the fabric, a beer belly defying regulation. "Oh, you're a big shot, huh? Calling the Pentagon like you're some general." He spat the word general, mocking her. "That was cute out there, real dramatic. But you're in my house." And now Holt snickered, mimicking Thornton's stance, though his bony shoulders lacked the same menace. Nia's jaw tightened. She'd faced worse. Deserts, boardrooms, war zones, but this, in her own country, burned deeper. "I made my call." She said, "Check the logs. You'll see." Thornton's smirk faded, his squinting eyes narrowing. He didn't like that. Didn't like her tone, her poise, her black skin daring to challenge him. He stepped closer, boots thudding, and loomed over her. "You think you're smart? I don't care who you called. You're nobody here." His breath reeked of stale coffee, hot against her face. Nia held his gaze, her heart a drumbeat. She was Dr. Nia Carter, 48, retired Air Force colonel, cybersecurity consultant. She'd briefed presidents. She wasn't nobody. But Thornton didn't care about truth. Only power. Holt piped up, voice higher, eager. "Yeah, what's a fancy lady like you doing with all this?" He gestured at her bag, her blazer, the gold watch glinting on her wrist. "Flying business class, acting all high and mighty. Where'd you get the money?" His words dripped venom, the same. Venom she'd heard in the concourse. "Someone like you," Thornton had sneered. She knew what they meant. Black, female, daring to exist above their station. Nia's fingers curled, nails biting her palms. "I'm a consultant," she said, each syllable clipped. "My job pays for my life." "Now, what's the charge?" Thornton chuckled, a low rumble that sent a chill down her spine. "Charge? Oh, we'll get to that." He turned to her bag, unzipping it with deliberate slowness. Nia tensed. Her laptop, her notes from Tokyo, classified contracts for a defense firm, sat inside. Nothing illegal but sensitive. "You can't search that without a warrant," she said, leaning forward. Thornton ignored her, rummaging like a kid in a toy box. Holt hovered, licking his lips, a dog waiting for scraps. Nia's mind raced. The Pentagon call. General Ellis owed her a favor from Kabul. He'd verify her rank, her clearance. She just needed time. Then Thornton paused, his meaty hand pulling back. "Well now, what's this?" He held up a small plastic baggie, clear, filled with white powder. Nia's stomach dropped. That wasn't hers, never had been. She bolted upright, the chair scraping. "That's not mine." "You know it's not." Her voice cracked, betraying panic for the first time. Thornton's grin widened, predatory. Holt's eyes widened too, but he stayed silent, glancing at his partner. "Looks like drugs to me," Thornton said, tossing the baggie onto the table. "Cocaine." "Maybe. Enough to lock you up for years." Nia's breath hitched. This was a setup. She'd seen dirty cops in movies, heard stories, but here, now, it was real. Her life, her daughter Maya, her career, her name, teetered on a lie. "You planted that," she said, forcing calm. "I'm clean. Test it." Thornton laughed, a bark that echoed off the walls. "Test it? Oh, we will." He nodded to Holt, who scrambled to a corner, pulling a field kit from a drawer. Nia watched, heart pounding, as Holt swabbed the baggie, his hands shaking. The swab turned blue. "Positive," Holt muttered, almost surprised. Thornton clapped, slow and mocking. "Well, damn. Guess you're a dealer after all." Nia's knees buckled, but she caught herself. "That's impossible," she whispered. Her mind spun. How? The baggie was fake, the test rigged. Thornton had planned this, maybe from the second he saw her. A black woman in a blazer, stepping off. Business class was threat enough. "I want a lawyer," she said, voice low but firm. Thornton shrugged, picking at his nails. "Sure, call one. After we book you." He grabbed her arm, yanking her up. The cuffs pinched harder, bruising now. Holt hesitated, clutching the baggie, but followed as Thornton marched her out. The hallway blurred, grey walls, buzzing lights, distant airport chatter. Nia's thoughts screamed. Maya! Her 19-year-old daughter was at Spellman waiting for her call. If this hit the news, no, she wouldn't let it. The Pentagon would clear this, they had to. Thornton shoved her into a processing room, a clerk typing at a desk. "Name," Thornton barked. "Nia Carter," she said, head high. He snorted, dictating to the clerk, "Drug possession, intent to distribute, felony." Nia's chest tightened. Felony, years in prison. Her contract's gone, her clearance revoked. Maya's tuition unpaid. "You're making a mistake," she said, locking eyes with Thornton. He met her stare, unblinking, his lips curling. "Mistake? Nah. You're the one who thought you could play me. That call of yours, ain't nobody coming." He turned to Holt. "Get her to county." Holt nodded, grabbing her elbow, softer than Thornton but firm. Nia's bag stayed behind, evidence now. Her phone, her lifeline, sat in a plastic tray. She memorized the clerk's face, brown eyes, tight bun, hoping for an ally. None came. The ride to county jail was a haze. Holt drove, silent, while Thornton rode shotgun, humming a country tune. Atlanta's lights streaked past, 90-degree heat seeping through the van's cracked windows. Nia sat in the back, cuffed to a bench, her blazer sticking to her skin. She replayed the room, the baggie, the swab, Thornton's grin. He'd wanted this, planned it. Why? Her race, her poise, her existence? She'd served 20 years in the Air Force, briefed generals, saved lives. Yet here she was, a number in a system that saw only her skin. County jail loomed, a concrete fortress under sodium lights. Holt parked, and Thornton hauled her out, his grip bruising her bicep. Inside, the air was thicker, stale with despair. A guard, a black woman, maybe 40, with tired eyes, processed her. Name, Nia Carter. Charge? The guard read Thornton's report, lips thinning. Drugs, huh? Nia shook her head. It's a lie. The guard's gaze softened, but she said nothing. Stamping the form. Nia's fingerprints smudged the scanner, her mugshot burned into a database. She was a criminal now, at least on paper. They stripped her blazer, her watch, her dignity, handing her an orange jumpsuit. It scratched her skin, too big, smelling of bleach and defeat. Thornton lingered, watching, his smirk a blade. "See you at trial, Princess," he said, turning away. Holt followed, head down, leaving her with the guard. The cell door clanged shut, a cold echo. Nia stood alone, the jumpsuit swallowing her frame. Her Pentagon call replayed in her mind, General Ellis's voice, clipped, promising action. "Where?" Was he? Where was anyone? She sank onto the cot, its springs groaning under her weight. The cell was 6 by 8 feet, walls scratched with names, prayers, curses. A single bulb buzzed overhead, casting shadows. Nia's ribs ached from Thornton's shove, her wrists raw. She closed her eyes, picturing Maya's smile, her curls, her voice saying, "Mom, you're unstoppable. Not today." Today, she was trapped, framed, erased. Thornton had won this round, his baggie a checkmate, but Nia wasn't done. She'd fought worse odds. Missiles, bureaucrats, glass ceilings. She'd fight this too. Her mind ticked, a clock winding up. The call was real. Her rank was real. She was Dr. Nia Carter, not this jumpsuit, not this lie. Thornton thought he'd buried her, but he'd miscalculated. She'd claw out, expose him, burn his world down. The how was fuzzy, lawyers, leaks, something, but the why was clear. For Maya, for every black woman cuffed, smeared, forgotten, for herself. She opened her eyes, the cell sharper now. Thornton's grin flashed, fuel for her fire. He'd pushed too far. She'd push back. The guard's footsteps faded, leaving. Silence. Nia's breath steadied, her pulse no longer a drum but a metronome. She'd get one call tomorrow, maybe two. She'd reach her lawyer, her firm, someone. The Pentagon hadn't answered yet, but they would. They had to. Thornton's frame was tight, baggy, test, report, but not airtight. Lies cracked under. Pressure. She'd find the crack, wedge it open, let truth spill. Until then, she'd endure. The cot creaked as she leaned back, staring at the ceiling. This wasn't over. Not even close. The county jail's air was a swamp, thick with mildew and despair, as Nia Carter slumped on her cot. Her orange jumpsuit chafed, its bleach stink burning her nose. 48 hours since Officer Thornton's baggy stunt, and her wrist still bore red cuff marks, a cruel tattoo of her new reality. The cell's concrete walls, etched with faded pleas, seemed to mock her. Dr. Nia Carter, ex-Air Force colonel, now inmate 9274. Her Pentagon call echoed in her mind, a lifeline fraying. Where was General Ellis? Why the silence? A guard's boots. Clamped outside, a heavy rhythm breaking the midnight hush. "Carter," the guard barked, a wiry Latina named Ruiz, her ponytail tight. "You got a visitor." Nia's heart leapt. Maybe her lawyer, or Ellis's aide. She stood, smoothing the jumpsuit, clinging to dignity. Ruiz led her down a dim corridor, fluorescent tubes buzzing like angry wasps. The visitation room was a grey box, a scratched plexiglass divider splitting it. No lawyer waited. Instead, a TV bolted to the wall played on mute, its glow casting shadows. Nia froze. Her face filled the screen. The footage was grainy, time-stamped from the airport. There she was, cuffed, struggling as Thornton dragged her. But the audio, wrong, warped, had her screaming curses, slurring like a drunk. "I'll kill you all." The fake Nia shrieked, her voice dubbed to sound feral. Text crawled below. "Drug mule meltdown at Hartsfield-Jackson." Nia's knees buckled. That wasn't her. She'd been calm, defiant, demanding her call. This was a lie, a digital knife twisting her truth. Ruiz grunted, eyes flicking to the screen. "Tough break," she muttered, shoving a chair forward. Nia sat, her pulse a jackhammer. The news ticker spun worse. Dr. Nia Carter, 48, arrested for cocaine smuggling. Sources confirm violent outburst. Violent? She'd barely raised her voice. Thornton's sneer flashed in her memory. He'd planned this, leaking a butchered clip to paint her as a monster. The segment cut to a pundit, a white man with slick hair, smirking. "Clearly a career criminal," he said. "Look at her rage." Nia's nails dug into her thighs, ripping the jumpsuit's cheap fabric. Career criminal? She'd served 20 years, protected networks for the Pentagon, raised Maya alone. Now this. The door buzzed and a man entered, short, balding, in a rumpled suit. "Marcus Bell, public defender," he said, voice nasal but kind. He slid a file through the slot. "Bad news first. Your firm, Cybertech, suspended you. Saw the video, called it a PR nightmare." Nia's chest caved. Cybertech was her lifeline, 6-figure contracts, Maya's tuition. Gone. Bell kept going. Your daughter's getting heat too. Kids at Spelman are trolling her online, calling her a dealer's kid. Nia's breath caught. Maya, her bright girl studying biology, now dragged into this filth. She pictured Maya's face crumpled, phone buzzing with hate. Belle leaned closer, glasses slipping. Good news. I got bail. Your pension's clean, so the judge set it at 50,000. You're out today if you sign. Nia nodded numb. Bail was a rope, but the video was an anchor. She signed, her hand shaking, ink smudging the form. How'd this video spread, she asked, voice low. Belle sighed. Went viral last night. 10 million views. Someone tipped X, said you're a cartel queen. Nia's blood chilled. Thornton. Only. He'd twist her arrest into this circus. His badge, his power, let him sculpt lies unchecked. Ruiz escorted her back, the TV's glow fading. Nia's cell felt smaller now, its walls closing in. She lay on the cot, staring at a crack in the ceiling, jagged like her thoughts. Maya's laugh haunted her, high, free from last summer's barbecue. Would Maya laugh now, branded a criminal's daughter? Nia's firm had trusted her, sent her to Tokyo to secure deals. Now they'd cut her loose, scared of a pixelated ghost. The Pentagon call, her ace, felt like a bad bet. Ellis hadn't called back. Was he stonewalled, or worse, complicit? Morning broke, grey light seeping through a barred slit. Ruiz returned, tossing Nia her blazer, now stained and creased. Out you go, she said, almost soft. Nia dressed, the fabric heavy, no longer armor. The discharge room was chaos, guards shouting, phones ringing, a drunk sobbing in a corner. Belle waited, holding her wallet, watch, and a warning. Stay low, he said. That video's got you radioactive. Nia nodded, slipping her watch on. Its tick was loud, a countdown. She stepped outside, the July sun blinding, 95 degrees and sticky. Freedom tasted sour. Her phone, retrieved from evidence, buzzed alive. 50 missed calls, Maya, her sister, unknown numbers. Texts flooded. Traitor. Dealer. Die. Nia's throat tightened. She dialed Maya, praying. Mom? Maya's voice was small. Cracked. I'm okay, baby, Nia lied, her eyes burning. They're saying you're a drug lord, Maya whispered. It's everywhere. Nia clenched the phone. It's a setup. I'll fix this. Maya's silence screamed doubt. Nia hung up, her resolve hardening. Thornton wanted her broken. She'd break him first. She hailed a cab, the driver glancing at her wary. News still buzzing, she asked. He nodded, eyes on the road. You're that lady, right? Nia sank lower in the seat. The cab smelled of pine air freshener, too sweet. Her apartment in Midtown was 30 minutes away, a sanctuary or a target. Belle had warned her. Crowds were forming, some with signs, others with worse. Social media, he'd said, was a war zone. Nia opened X, her fingers trembling. The doctored. Clip looped, comments piling like garbage. Lock her up. Typical thug. Her mugshot stared back, eyes hollow, hair mussed. A fresh post from an anonymous account hit harder. Nia Carter, 1247 Peachtree St. Pay her a visit. Her breath stopped. That was her address. Thornton hadn't just smeared her, he'd doxed her, painting a bullseye on her life. The post had 5,000 shares, replies cheering, Get her. Burn it down. Nia's cab slowed, traffic clotting near downtown. She scrolled, heart racing, and found a new hashtag. Nia the dealer. It trended, millions joining. Her firm's statement popped up. Dr. Carter's actions do not reflect our values. Actions. She'd done nothing but exist, black and proud in their sights. Thornton's laugh echoed in her skull, his red face gloating. He'd turned her name to poison. The cab pulled up to a friend's place. She couldn't risk home. Nia paid, tipping extra, and slipped inside. The doors locked loud in the quiet. Her friend Lena wasn't here, working late. The apartment was cool, 68 degrees, a stark contrast to jail's heat. Nia sank onto a couch, her blazer crumpling. Her phone buzzed again. Belle. More bad news, he said. Thornton's pushing for a grand jury. Says you're a flight risk. Nia's jaw clenched. Of course he was. Thornton didn't just want her caged, he wanted her erased, her voice silenced, her life rubble. She opened her laptop, praying for a lifeline. Her Pentagon email was locked, suspended like her firm. General Ellis's number saved in her contacts went to voicemail. Again. Nia's hope flickered, a candle in a storm. Bail had felt like a win, a crack in Thornton's trap. But this doxing was worse than bars. Her apartment, her haven, was a trap now. Maya's dorm, Spellman's campus, was no safer. Thornton had weaponized the world against her, his badge a wand-waving hate. She pictured his squint, his grunt as he tossed the baggie. He'd enjoyed it, savoring her fall. Nia stood, pacing Lena's hardwood floor. Her ribs twinged, bruised. From Thornton's shove in the holding room, she wasn't beaten, not yet. Belle was digging. Maya was tough, and she was still Nia Carter, the woman who'd cracked codes in Kandahar, who'd stared down senators and won. Thornton's video was a lie, but lies needed scaffolding. Someone had edited it, hosted it, pushed it. Thornton wasn't tech-savvy, his hacker buddy was. Find them, gut them, expose the rot. She'd need help, resources, time, all slipping away. Her phone pinged, a news alert. Fugitive dealer. Nia Carter, released, public outrage grows. Fugitive? She was on bail, legal, Thornton's handiwork. Again twisting the knife. The article quoted him. She's dangerous, we'll get her. Nia's blood boiled. Dangerous? He was the threat, cloaked in blue, wielding a system that bent to his sneer. She closed her eyes, breathing deep. Maya's face grounded her, brown eyes, fierce like hers. For Maya, she'd fight. For every black soul Thornton had crushed. She'd rise. This was war now, and she'd fire back. The laptop glowed, X still open. The hashtag pulsed, a digital heartbeat of hate. Nia's fingers hovered, itching to reply, to scream her truth. But that was Thornton's game. Rage bait, chaos. She'd play smarter, quieter, deadlier. Belle had her bail conditions. No travel? Weekly check-ins. She'd use that leash, turn it into a whip. Thornton thought he'd won, leaking her face, her home. He'd misjudged her. She wasn't prey. She was a storm, brewing, waiting to strike. Let him gloat. His time was coming. Nia Carter crouched over Lena's kitchen table, the laptop's glow carving shadows across her face. The midtown apartment was a cocoon, its blinds shut tight against Atlanta's humid night. 92 degrees outside, but Lena's AC hummed at 65, chilling Nia's sweat-soaked blazer. Her phone, now a burner from a gas station, sat silent. No word from General Ellis, no lifeline from the Pentagon. The viral smear from county jail still stung, her mugshot a ghost haunting. X branding her a drug mule. But here in this borrowed haven, she'd fight back. Lena, her friend since Spellman days, was at a night shift, leaving Nia alone with her plan. She'd hacked into an old Air Force server, risky but worth it, pulling logs of her airport call. The timestamp glowed. July 10th, 2:15 p.m., connected to General Ellis's secure line. Proof Thornton's frame-up was a lie. Her heart lifted, a spark in the dark. If she got this to Marcus Bell, her public defender, they could sue the department, expose Thornton's baggy stunt. She saved the file to a USB, its plastic warm in her palm. This was her weapon. Nia sipped Lena's instant coffee, bitter but grounding. Her ribs ached, bruised from Thornton's shove in the holding room. Maya's last call echoed, "Mom, they're outside my dorm." Nia had told her to stay with the professor, safe for now, but safe was a lie. Thornton's doxing had unleashed a mob. Her Peachtree Street address shared 5,000 times. Nia the dealer trending. She couldn't go home. Lena's place, a 10th floor walk-up, was her last stand. She typed an email to Belle, attaching the log. Send, and she'd breathe easier. Almost there. The laptop pinged, a news alert. Fugitive Nia Carter spotted in Midtown. Her stomach lurched. Spotted. She'd been here 3 hours, unseen. The article quoted Thornton. "She's armed, dangerous. We're closing in." Nia's pulse spiked. He was lying, tightening the noose. Her fingers froze on the keyboard, the email unsent. A floorboard creaked outside the door, faint but wrong. Lena wasn't due back till dawn. Nia killed the laptop's light, plunging the room into black. Her breath caught shallow as she listened. Silence. Then a muffled thud like boots on carpet. Not one pair, multiple, heavy, trained. Nia's training kicked in. 20 years in the Air Force, threat assessment automatic. She grabbed the USB, stuffed it in her sock and slid under the table, its oak shielding her. The door's lock clicked, slow, deliberate. No knock, no warning. Her burner phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "You're done, Carter." Thornton's hacker had to be. He'd traced her, turned her hideout into a trap. The door exploded inward, wood splinters flying. Flashlights stabbed the dark, beams slicing like knives. SWAT. 6 men armored in black, rifles raised. Atlanta. PD patches glinted on their vests. "Clear," one shouted, voice muffled by a mask. Nia's heart pounded, her body pressed to the floor. They weren't here to arrest, they moved like hunters. Thornton's doing. His revenge for her bail, her defiance. A boot crushed Lena's rug, inches from her face. She held her breath. Ribs screaming as she stayed still. "Kitchen's empty," a second voice growled. "Check the bedroom." Nia's mind raced. The USB burned against her ankle, her only proof. If they found her, it was gone and she was dead. The table wobbled as a rifle butt grazed it, knocking Lena's coffee mug to the floor. It shattered, ceramic shards spraying. Nia flinched, a tiny gasp escaping. A flashlight swung down, pinning. "Her got her?" the leader barked. "Hands up, Carter." Nia froze, options collapsing. Run, fight, or surrender. None good. She crawled out, hands raised, eyes squinting against the beams. "I'm unarmed," she said, voice steady, despite the fear clawing. Her gut. The leader, a slab of a man with a scarred jaw, grabbed her arm, twisting it. "You're a long way from business class," he sneered, his breath sour with tobacco. Nia's ribs flared, pain shooting through her side as he yanked her up. The others trashed the place. Drawers dumped, couch slashed, Lena's photos smashed. A framed picture of Maya hit the floor, glass cracking over her smile. "Why are you here?" Nia asked, stalling. "No warrant, no cause." The leader laughed, cuffing her wrists. "New bruises on old ones. Thornton says you're a dealer. That's enough." Nia's blood boiled. Thornton, of course. He'd sent a death squad, not cops. Her. Burner buzzed in her pocket, ignored. The leader shoved her toward the door, his grip a vice. Outside, a crowd gathered, phones flashing. Someone was live-streaming. Nia's hope flickered. Witnesses. Maybe a chance. A woman's voice cut through. "That's her, the dealer." Nia recognized her, a neighbor from Lena's hall, eyes wide with fear or hate. The crowd surged, shouting slurs, echoing Thornton's hashtag. Nia's skin crawled. This wasn't just SWAT. It was a spectacle staged for clicks. The livestream's comments scrolled in her mind. "Get her." "Justice." Justice was Thornton's boot, grinding her down. The leader pushed her past the mob, their phones a forest of lenses. Nia kept her head high, refusing to crack. They reached the stairwell, 10 flights to the street. Nia's legs burned, but she tracked every move. 6 men, 3 in front, 3 behind. The leader's radio crackled. Thornton's voice clipped. "Bring her alive for now." Nia's gut twisted. Alive meant leverage, not mercy. She scanned for exits, her Air Force instincts sharp. A fire door loomed on the 5th floor ajar, leading to an alley. Her chance. She stumbled, faking weakness, and the leader's grip loosened. Now or never. Nia bolted, slamming the fire door open. Alarms wailed, piercing the night. The alley was a maze. Dumpsters, crates, 90-degree heat wrapping her like a fist. She ran, cuffs biting, her blazer flapping. Boots thundered behind, SWAT cursing. A bullet grazed a brick wall, sparking near her head. "They're shooting!" Nia's lungs burned, her ribs screaming with each step. She ducked behind a dumpster, its stink choking, rotten food oil. The USB pressed against her ankle, her lifeline. She couldn't lose it. The livestream crowd spilled into the alley, phones still rolling. Nia used them, weaving through shadows, their lights blinding her pursuers. A chain-link fence loomed, 8 feet high. She climbed, cuffs snagging, tearing her palms. Pain was fuel. She dropped to the other side, landing hard, her ankle twisting. SWAT was close, flashlights sweeping. Nia sprinted, finding a side street, its asphalt slick with summer rain. A delivery van idled, driver gone. She slipped inside, crouching low, breath ragged. The SWAT team passed, radio squawking. Nia waited, counting seconds, 60, 90. Silence settled, broken by distant sirens. She eased out, checking the burner. No signal. The USB was safe, but her ribs throbbed, blood seeping through her shirt. She'd escaped, barely. Her mind clung to the log, the email unsent. Bell could still use it, clear her name. She'd find a new hideout, regroup, fight. Thornton hadn't won. Not yet. Morning news hit like a bomb. Nia, holed up in a gas station bathroom, saw it on a clerk's phone. Fugitive Nia Carter assaults SWAT in Midtown raid. Assault? She'd run, not fought. Thornton's face filled, the screen badge gleaming. She attacked my men, he lied, his squint cold, statewide warrant issued, armed and dangerous. Nia's breath stopped. The clerk glanced at her, eyes narrowing. She slipped out, hood up, the warrant a noose tightening. Thornton's hacker had struck again, framing her for violence she'd never committed. Her burner buzzed, a text from Bell. Lay low. They're hunting you. Nia's jaw clenched. Hunting. That's what Thornton wanted. A chase. A kill. The live stream had helped her escape. Its chaos a shield. But it fed his lie too. Millions saw her run, not the SWAT's rifles, not Thornton's orders. She needed Lena, Maya, someone. But her phone was a tracker now, her face a target. The USB was her only card, and Thornton knew it. He'd burn Atlanta to get it. Nia limped toward a bus stop, the city waking under a pink dawn. Her blazer hung in tatters, blood staining her sleeve. 98 degrees loomed, summer's fist unyielding. She'd survived the raid, kept the eye. Proof, but Thornton's warrant changed everything. No jail now, cops would shoot on sight. Her ribs pulsed, her ankles swelled, but her eyes burned with fire. Thornton thought he'd cornered her. He'd forgotten who she was. Dr. Nia Carter. Didn't break. She built storms, and his was coming. Nia Carter melted into Atlanta's shadows. Her blazer swapped for a hoodie scavenged from a thrift bin. The city's underbelly pulsed, neon signs flickering over pawn shops, 97-degree heat baking the asphalt. Her ankle throbbed from the alley escape, her ribs a dull ache from the SWAT raid's blows. The USB with the Pentagon call log pressed against her skin, taped inside her sock, a ticking bomb of truth. Thornton's statewide warrant had turned every corner into a trap. Her face plastered on bus stops. Nia Carter armed and dangerous. She was a ghost now, hunted. A contact from her Air Force days, Jamal, had whispered about a safe house, a black activist group called Freedom's Pulse, holed up in a shuttered barbershop in Vine City. Nia slipped through back streets, hood low, dodging cop cars with their red-blue glare. The barbershop's windows were boarded, graffiti screaming "Justice now." She knocked. 3 sharp raps, Jamal's code. The door creaked, revealing a woman, mid-30s, locks tied back, eyes like steel. "I'm Zara," she said. "You're Nia, get in." Inside. The air was stale, 80 degrees, fans rattling against the July swelter. 5 others waited, young, black. Laptops open, faces lit by screens. Freedom's Pulse was small but fierce, hacking systems, leaking truths the news ignored. Zara handed Nia water, her gaze assessing. "Heard about the raid," she said. "Thornton's a snake. We'll help." Nia nodded, wary but desperate. Her burner phone was dead, her lawyer Bell out of reach. These strangers were her shot. She pulled the USB, its weight her anchor. "I've got proof," she said. "Pentagon logs, clears my name." Zara's tech lead, a lanky kid named Corey, plugged it in. The group crowded, screens flashing code. There. July. 10th, 2:15 p.m. Colonel Nia Carter to General Ellis. Zara whistled. "That's gold." Nia's chest loosened, hope flickering. If they could leak this, Thornton's drug frame would crack. Corey grinned, fingers flying. Let's hit Thornton where it hurts. We've got his emails, sloppy security. Nia leaned in, watching Corey breach the precinct's server. Messages spilled. Thornton to a buddy. Carter's just another thug. She'll rot. Another. Plant whatever, make it stick. Nia's blood boiled. Proof he'd targeted her, hated her skin. The group buzzed, planning a press conference for dawn. Zara knew a journalist, indie but trusted, who'd blast the emails globally. Nia pictured it, Thornton's red face crumbling, his badge stripped. She'd walk free, hug Maya, rebuild. The barbershop's walls plastered with protest flyers felt like a fortress. Corey drafted a statement, Nia's words sharp. I'm no dealer, I'm a patriot, framed for my race. Zara nodded. This'll wake people up. Nia exhaled, her ribs easing. She wasn't alone anymore. A new face joined late. A wiry guy, early 30s, calling himself Malik. His dreads were neat, his smile easy, but his eyes darted too quick. Said he'd fled Thornton's cops before, wanted to help. Zara vouched. And Nia, tired, trusted. Malik offered coffee, asked about her call. She shared enough. Pentagon, Ellis, logs. Watching him nod, intense. He patched their Wi-Fi, boosting the signal, and Nia felt grateful. The group worked past midnight, scripting the conference. Nia memorized lines, her voice steady in practice. By 4 a.m. she felt it. Victory close enough to taste. Corey's laptop pinged, a new email draft saved. Nia glanced. Thornton's inbox again. A rant to Holt, his rookie partner. Carter's done. She'll never see daylight. Nia's pulse surged. Holt, the twitchy cop from the holding room, silent but complicit. She showed Zara, who cursed. We'll bury them both. Nia nodded, imagining Holt's nervous face when the emails hit. The conference was set for a community center, neutral ground with cameras ready. Nia slept an hour, dreaming of Maya's laugh, free from fear. Dawn broke, grey and sticky, 90 degrees already. The group packed, laptops, flyers, Nia's USB. Malik lingered, tweaking Corey's rig. Something's off, he muttered, rebooting. Nia frowned. His hands moved too fast, not techie fast, but sneaky. Her gut twinged, Air Force instincts flaring. She watched him closer, his smile tight now. Zara called them to roll and Nia followed, hoodie up, the USB safe. The center was 10 blocks, a risk but worth it. She'd speak, clear her name, end. This they reached the center, a brick building with faded murals, hands raised, don't shoot. A dozen supporters waited, phones out, live streaming. Nia's heart lifted. People believed her, saw through Thornton's lies. Zara set up, Corey testing mics. Nia rehearsed, her words ablade. Thornton framed me because I'm black, because I dared exist. Malik hovered, offering water, but his eyes flicked to the door, the street. Nia's neck prickled. Something was wrong. She scanned. Windows, exits, crowd. Too late. Sirens screamed, close, too close. Red lights flashed through the center's glass doors. FBI, not local. Black SUVs, agents in vests, rifles drawn. Freeze! A voice boomed. Hands up! Nia's stomach dropped, her group scattering. Zara cursed. Corey slamming his laptop shut. Nia stood, hands raised, the USB burning in her sock. Agents stormed in, zip-tying wrists. You're Nia Carter, an agent said, his face blank. Cybercrimes, kiddie porn distribution, you're done. Nia's knees buckled. Kiddie porn? Impossible. She couldn't. The agent yanked her arms, cuffing her, metal cold and tight. Her ribs flared, old bruises waking. Where's this coming from? She demanded, voice shaking. The agent shoved a tablet at her. A screenshot, her laptop's IP, files labeled explicit, uploaded last night. Nia's breath stopped. That wasn't hers. She'd been at the barbershop with Corey, Zara, Malik, his quick hands, the reboot, his darting eyes. He'd planted it, framed her worse than Thornton's drugs. The crowd gasped, phones still rolling, their cheers turning to whispers. Traitor. Monster. Zara lunged, shouting, She's clean. You've got it wrong. An agent pushed her back, zip-tying her too. Corey froze, laptop clutched, his face pale. Malik was gone, vanished in the chaos. Naya's mind raced. He'd played them, infiltrated, waited. But why? Then it hit. Holt. The emails mentioned him, Thornton's shadow. Malik was Holt undercover, his dreads a lie, his smile a blade. He'd sabotaged the hack, turned their win into a guillotine. Nia's eyes burned, rage swallowing fear. She'd trusted, and he'd gutted her. The FBI hauled her outside, the sun blinding, 95 degrees now. The crowd booed, some throwing. Bottles, others crying. Nia's hoodie slipped, her face bare for the cameras. The live streams would explode again, branding her worse than a dealer, a predator. Her firm, her allies, Maya, they'd believe it or doubt her. Thornton's laugh echoed in her skull, Holt's twitchy grin beside it. They'd planned this, a double blow. The emails were bait, her hope a trap. She'd thought she'd won, exposing Thornton. Now she was nothing. The SUV's door slammed, locking her in. Agents muttered about Quantico, federal charges, life sentences. Nia's cuffs cut deeper, blood trickling. The USB stayed hidden, her last card, but useless now. Freedom's pulse was shattered, Zara cuffed, Corey lost. They thought she'd betrayed them, leaking filth from their network. Holt had flipped it all, her proof, her allies, her name. Thornton's warrant was child's play compared to this. She was alone, a pariah, the system's jaws closing. Nia stared out the tinted window, Atlanta blurring, barbershops, churches, pain. Maya's face grounded her, a flicker in the dark. She'd failed her daughter, her group, herself. But failure wasn't final. Holt's smirk, Thornton's gloat, they'd misjudged her. She'd cracked codes under fire, survived raids, outrun death. This wasn't over. The FBI van rumbled, taking her to hell, but her mind burned, plotting. She'd find Holt's tracks, Thornton's strings and pull until their world collapsed. For now she'd endure a storm waiting to break. Nia Carter sat shackled in a federal lockup, the air icy at 60 degrees, a stark shift from Atlanta's 98-degree furnace. The cell was sterile, white walls, steel bench, a single bulb glaring overhead. Her orange jumpsuit hung loose, her wrists raw from the FBI's cuffs after Holt's betrayal at the press conference. The USB with her Pentagon call log was gone, stripped during processing, her last proof now a ghost. 6 hours in this box, and her mind churned. Freedom's pulse shattered, Zara and Corey lost, Maya's voice a distant echo. She was alone, buried deeper than county jail. Footsteps clacked outside, sharp and precise. The door slid open, revealing Ellen Vance, a federal prosecutor in a slate-grey suit, her blonde hair pulled tight. Mid-40s, eyes like frost, she carried a tablet and a smirk that didn't reach them. "Dr. Carter," she said, voice smooth as glass, "you're in a mess. Cybercrimes, kiddie porn, life in Supermax if we push it." Naya's stomach twisted. That wasn't hers. Holt had planted it, Thornton's puppet pulling strings. She straightened, ribs aching from the SWAT raid, and met Vance's gaze. "It's a lie," she said. "You know it." Vance perched on the bench's edge, crossing her legs. "Maybe, but juries don't care about truth. They see files, IP addresses, your name." She tapped the tablet, showing Nia's mugshot, now tied to evidence from the barbershop. "Hack, here's the deal. Plead guilty, 10 years, out in 6 with good behavior. Refuse and it's life. No parole." Nia's pulse thudded. 10 years. For nothing. She'd lose Maya, her career, her soul. Her Air Force grit flared. "I'm no criminal," she said, voice low. "Test my call log. Pentagon clears me." Vance's lips twitched, a flicker of irritation. "Bold move," she said, standing. "I'll check. But don't expect miracles." She left, heels clicking, the door clanging shut. Nia exhaled, her breath fogging in the chill. The log was real, July 10th, her voice to General Ellis. If Vance verified it, this frame might crack. She pictured Thornton's red face, Holt's twitchy grin, orchestrating this from the shadows. Vance was their new blade, sharper, federal. Nia's ribs pulsed, her ankle swollen from the alley run. She'd endure. She had to. Hours crawled. The bulbs hum, her only company. Nia paced, 3 steps each way, the cell a cage for her mind. Maya's last words, Mom, they're saying you're a predator cut deep. The FBI raid had flipped her allies, left her a pariah. Holt's sabotage was genius. Cybercrimes worse than drugs, a stain no one scrubbed off. She'd trusted him. Malik, his coffee, his nods. Her fists clenched, nails biting skin. Thornton wanted her broken. Vance his enforcer. But broken wasn't her. She'd cracked codes in war zones, survived raids. She'd crack this. The door hissed open again. Vance back, tablet glowing. Her smirk was gone, replaced by a thin line. "Your log checks out," she said. Clipped. General Ellis confirmed. "Colonel Nia Carter, retired, called July 10th. You're no dealer, no hacker." Nia's chest loosened, air rushing in, relief, sharp and fleeting. "So I'm free?" she asked, standing. Vance nodded. Slow. "House arrest. Pending review. Ankle monitor, no travel, we'll sort the cyber mess later." Nia's hope flared. House arrest beat this tomb. She'd call Maya, Bell, regroup. Processing was a blur. Guards uncuffing her, handing back her blazer, now torn and blood-stained. The monitor clamped her ankle. A cold weight, its beep mocking freedom. Vance watched, eyes narrow. "Stay put." "Carter," she said, "step out and you're back here." Nia nodded, silent, her mind racing. Ellis had come through, barely. The log was her shield, but Thornton's warrant still loomed, Holt's lies festering. She'd use this, plan, strike. The guard drove her to Lena's, her own apartment a mob target since the doxing. Lena's place was trashed, SWAT's handiwork, couch gutted, walls scarred. Nia sank onto a chair, the monitor's green light blinking. 90 degrees outside, but the AC held at 68, a fragile comfort. Her burner was gone, seized, so she borrowed Lena's landline. Maya picked up, voice trembling. "Mum, you're out." Nia swallowed tears. "Yeah, baby, house arrest, I'm fighting." Maya's sigh was relief, trust. Bell next, he'd heard, promised a motion to dismiss. Nia hung up, picturing Thornton's scowl. She'd won this round, small but real. She booted Lena's laptop, checking. Text the smear lingered. Nia the dealer still trending, but cracks showed. "Pentagon backs Carter," one post read, shared 10,000 times. Supporters rallied, small but loud. Nia's ribs eased, her breathing steady. House arrest was a leash, but she'd stretch it, dig into Thornton, Holt, their hacker. The log was verified. The cyber frame could unravel. She showered, washing off jail's grime, the water hot against her bruises. A fresh shirt, Lena's spare, felt like armor. She'd rebuild, starting now. Midnight struck, the city humming beyond the blinds. Nia slept, the first real rest since Tokyo, dreaming of Maya's graduation, free from this hell. A buzz woke her, 2 a.m., the monitor silent, but a text on Lena's phone. "Check the news." Her gut sank. She flipped on the TV, CNN blazing. Terror alert, Nia Carter linked to airport bomb threat. A grainy photo, her, doctored, holding a detonator. Nia's breath stopped. Bomb threat. She'd been here, cuffed to this apartment. The anchor droned. Feds confirm Carter's IP sent the threat hours ago. Nia's hands shook. The laptop open. Her IP, Lena's Wi-Fi, was clean, she'd checked. This was Vance, a new frame, worse than Holt's. The anchor cut to Thornton. "She's a terrorist, always was." Then Vance, poised. "We're acting swiftly." Nia's mind screamed. Acting? How? The window rattled, a hum growing outside. She peeked through the blinds, heart pounding. A drone hovered, black, sleek, its red eye locked on her. Military grade, not police. Her Air Force brain clicked. Predator model, armed. Vance wasn't arresting her. She was erasing her. Glass. Shattered as the drone fired, a missile streaking. Nia dove, the explosion ripping Lena's couch apart, flames licking the walls. Heat seared her skin, 90 degrees spiking to 200. She crawled, monitor beeping wild, smoke choking her. Lungs, the USB stayed taped, her lifeline. Another blast rocked the floor, debris slicing her arm. Blood dripped, warm and thick. She kicked the fire escape, metal groaning, and stumbled down, bare feet burning on hot steel. The drone circled, hunting. The alley below was chaos. Neighbors. Screaming, phones filming. Sirens distant. Nia hit the ground, ankle buckling, ribs howling. The drone's whine faded. Vance's strike aborted. For now. Her monitor dangled, cracked but live, pinning her location. She ripped it off, smashing it against a dumpster, its beep dying. Blood soaked her sleeve, her vision blurring. The news replayed in her skull: terrorist, bomb threat. Vance had flipped her release, Thornton's grin behind it. She was no fugitive now. She was America's enemy, hunted by drones. Nia staggered into a side street, the city a blur. Car horns, humid wind, 95 degrees wrapping her tight. Her blazer was ash, her proof intact but useless. Vance's frame was iron, federal lethal, no bail this time. Thornton's warrant felt quaint next to this. She'd thought house arrest was a win, a step to justice. Now it was a kill box. Vance's trap sprung. The Pentagon log meant nothing. Ellis couldn't stop a drone. Nia's eyes burned, not from smoke but fury. They'd misjudged her again. She ducked into a vacant lot, weeds scratching her legs. Blood trailed, a red thread marking her path. Her ribs cracked with each breath, her arm pulsing. She needed shelter, a phone, a plan. Thornton and Vance wanted her dead, her voice silenced, her race their excuse. She pictured Maya, safe for now, but not forever. For her, Nia would run. Fight, live. The USB pressed against her ankle, a ember in the dark. She'd use it somehow. This wasn't over. It was war, and she'd wage it. Nia Carter crouched in a derelict gas station bathroom, the mirror cracked and speckled with grime. Her blazer was gone, burned in the drone strike, replaced by a thrift store cap and a stained jacket, 2 sizes too big. Atlanta's summer night. Pressed in, 96 degrees, the air thick with gasoline fumes seeping through broken tiles. Her arm throbbed, bandaged with a torn shirt, blood crusting from the explosion's shrapnel. The USB with her Pentagon call log stayed taped to her. Ankle, a lifeline she couldn't lose. She was a terrorist now, Vance's label branding her for death. Her reflection stared back, hollow eyes, matted hair, a face millions hunted. The drone had missed, but Vance's terror frame hadn't. CNN looped her photo, tying her to a fake airport bomb threat. Nia's ribs ached, cracked from the dive off Lena's fire escape. Maya's voice haunted her, faint from their last call before the feds took her burner. She needed allies, a voice louder than Vance's lies. A name surfaced, Malik Jones, a rogue journalist she'd met at a cybersecurity conference 2 years. Back, fringe, fearless. He'd listen. She slipped out, hood up, the city's hum masking her steps. A payphone loomed, rusted but alive, 50 cents from a pawned watch buying her a call. Malik picked up, voice gravelly. "Carter, thought you were dead." Nia's throat tightened. "Not yet," she said. "I've got dirt. Vance, the prosecutor, tied to white supremacists. Can you air it?" Silence stretched, then a grunt. "Meet me. Decatur. Old print shop, midnight." She hung up, the clock ticking, 11 p.m. 1 hour to dodge Thornton's warrant, Vance's drones. The trek was hell, 5 miles, her ankles swollen, ribs stabbing with each breath. Atlanta's outskirts blurred, strip malls, honking trucks, 95 degrees clinging like damp cloth. She reached the shop, its brick facade crumbling, windows dark. Malik waited inside, a wiry man, 40, with a graying beard and a laptop, glowing on a dusty press. He squinted at her. "Damn, you look rough." Nia sank onto a crate, wincing. "Rough's generous," she said, pulling the USB. "Vance's donor, check property records, shell companies. It's a gentrification scam, pinned on me." Malik plugged it in, his screen flashing, emails from Part 5's hack untainted by Holt's sabotage. He dug deeper, cross-referencing Vance's name. "Bingo," he muttered. "Vance got 50 grand from a group called Pure Heritage, owns half of Vine City's deeds. White power cash, funneled through fake LLCs. Nia's pulse quickened. Pure Heritage, swastikas. Hand hoods, bankrolling Vance to frame her, clear black neighborhoods for profit. Malik typed fast, drafting an exposé. "This airs tonight," he said. "Fringe net, but it'll spread." They worked, Nia feeding him details. Thornton's emails, the baggy Holt's betrayal. Malik's camera rolled, her face blurred, voice raw. "I'm no terrorist. Vance and Thornton framed me to steal our homes." The piece was tight. 5 minutes, damning. Malik uploaded it to his stream. Truth Unleashed at 2 a.m. Nia watched, her cap low, as views climbed. 10,000, 50,000. By dawn, X buzzed. Free Nia trending. Protests sparking in Midtown. Her chest lifted, a crack in the storm. People saw her truth. The shift was seismic. News picked it up. CNN hedging. Allegations against prosecutor Vance surface. Crowds rallied outside City Hall, signs reading "Justice for Nia." Malik grinned, rare and wide. "You're turning it, Carter." Nia nodded, ribs easing. House arrest had been a win, crushed by the drone. This felt bigger, public rage, a shield. She pictured Maya, safe at Spellman, maybe smiling. Thornton's red face would twist now, Vance's frost cracking. She'd hide here, let the story grow, then strike harder. Malik offered a cot in the back, a stained mattress under a flickering bulb. Nia slept, dreaming of Maya's graduation again, the crowd chanting her name. A crash woke her. 4 a.m., glass shattering up front. Malik's shout cut off, sharp and final. Nia bolted up, ribs screaming, and peeked through a curtain. Militia, 10 men, camo vests, rifles glinting, stormed in. No badges, just hate. Thornton's leak, her location sold. A bearded brute barked, "Where's Carter?" Malik lunged, swinging a wrench, but a gunshot cracked, blood blooming on his chest. He dropped, eyes wide, gone. Nia's breath stopped. Grief. Clawing her throat. Malik, dead for her. His laptop smashed under a boot. The militia torched the shop, flames licking old wood, 90 degrees spiking to a furnace. She grabbed the USB, slipping out a back hatch as smoke thickened. Her cap fell, singed, her arm bleeding fresh. The alley was a furnace too, firelight dancing on brick. She ran, lungs burning, ribs cracking, the militia's shouts fading. Malik's blood stained her mind. Another loss, Thornton's blade twisting deeper. Morning news screamed worse. Nia, hiding in a storm drain, heard it on a stolen radio. Journalist Malik Jones killed in Carter raid. Cop-hating radical suspected. Vance's face filled broadcasts, poised. Nia Carter's a killer, targeting. Law enforcement. The expose twisted. Malik's death pinned on her, his stream called terrorist propaganda. Nia's stomach sank. Vance had flipped it. Thornton's militia, her tool. Protests faltered. Junk Free Nia drowned by Chorn killer Carter. The crowd's cheers turned to boos, millions swallowing the lie. She crouched, water sloshing at her knees, 94 degrees in the drain's gloom. Her arm pulsed, infection creeping, blood mixing with muck. The USB stayed dry, her last thread. But Malik's death crushed her. He'd believed, fought, died. Thornton's leak, her location, her hope, proved he'd never stop. Vance's spin was genius, painting her a radical, a cop killer. The drone strike felt tame now. This was public execution, her name a curse. Maya would hear this, doubt her. Nia's eyes stung, rage swallowing tears. She crawled out, dawn breaking over Atlanta's sprawl. Her ribs were fire, her arm a throbbing mess, but she moved, alleys, shadows, a hunted thing. Vance's voice echoed from a TV in a diner window. "We'll find her. Justice demands it." Justice? Nia's laugh was bitter, silent. Thornton's militia, Vance's lies. They were justice here, racism their law. The expose had lit a spark, but they doused it with blood. She needed more proof, allies' time. All slipping away. Nia found a dumpster, its shade a brief shield. Her jacket reeked blood and sweat, but she kept it, hiding her face. Malik's wrench swing replayed, brave, futile. He died for her truth, and Vance had stolen it, twisted. It. Thornton's gloat loomed, his warrant now quaint next to this. She'd thought the crowd was her win, a tide turning. Now it was a mob, baying for her head. The USB pressed, a ember in the dark. She'd use it somehow. Honor Malik. Gut. Vance burned Thornton. This wasn't over. Nia Carter huddled in a storm drain's damp shadow, the stench of rot and rust clogging her throat. Atlanta's dawn was a grey smear, 93 degrees already, the air heavy with summer's grip. Her arm burned, infection swelling under. A makeshift bandage, blood seeping from the militia ambush. Malik's death replayed, his wrench swinging, the gunshot, his body crumpling in the print shop's flames. Grief gnawed her, a jagged blade, but the USB taped to her ankle pulsed like a heartbeat. His sacrifice wouldn't be wasted. She'd make Thornton bleed for it. Her stolen radio crackled, Vance's voice smooth on the airwaves. Nia Carter's. A cop killer, a radical. Justice will prevail. Justice. Nia's lips curled, bitter. Malik's expose had lit a fire. Free Nia trending, until Thornton's militia snuffed it, Vance twisting the ashes into her guilt. The USB held her Pentagon log, but it wasn't enough now. She needed more. Ironclad, public, a blow to gut them. A name surfaced. Kim Reynolds, a precinct clerk she'd glimpsed during booking, brown eyes soft with doubt. Kim had Thornton's. Body cam files, raw truth no hacker could fake. Nia crawled out, her ribs cracking with each move, the jacket from Part 7 clinging with sweat and muck. Vine City's fringes loomed, boarded homes, stray dogs sniffing trash. She tracked Kim via a burner phone, snatched from a pawn shop, its signal masked. Kim lived off Moreland Avenue, a squat duplex 10 miles east. Nia limped, hood up, dodging cop drones humming overhead. Her ankle throbbed, swollen from the fire escape drop, but Malik's blood drove her, red on the floor, a debt unpaid. The duplex was peeling yellow paint, 95 degrees baking its sagging porch. Nia knocked, soft, urgent. A woman answered, late 30s, petite, her bun tight, eyes wary behind glasses. You're her, Kim whispered, stepping back. Nia nodded, slipping in. The living room was sparse, couch, TV, a fan whirring at 70 degrees. I need your help, Nia said, voice low. Thornton's body cam from the airport, it's my life. Kim hesitated, fingers twisting a bracelet. I saw him plant it, she said, the baggie. But they'll kill me. Nia's pulse quickened. You've got it? Kim nodded, pulling a drive from a drawer, its silver glinting. Copied it before they wiped the server. Shows him slipping the powder, laughing. Nia's chest tightened. Proof, untainted, Thornton's own lens damning him. We leak this, she said, they're done. Kim's eyes darted, fear warring with resolve. My brother's a cop, she said, clean, this is for him too. Nia gripped her shoulder, firm. You're brave, Kim. Let's move. They used Kim's laptop, a clunky Dell, uploading the footage to a dark web Dropbox. Nia knew a contact, Rhea, an ex-Air Force tech turned whistleblower, who'd blast it to major networks. The file loaded. 20 minutes of grainy truth. Thornton in the holding room smirking, sliding the baggie into Nia's bag. Holt nodding like a puppy. Audio crackled. Another thug down. Nia's blood boiled, her ribs aching as she leaned. Rhea's reply pinged. Got it. CNN, MSNBC tonight. Nia exhaled, a spark igniting. This was her shot. By 8 p.m., the world shifted. Nia, holed up in Kim's spare room, watched CNN on a muted TV. The anchor's jaw tightened. Breaking. Bodycam leaks expose Officer Thornton framing Nia Carter. The clip looped. Thornton's laugh, the baggie, Holt's complicity. X erupted. Thornton lies trending, 50,000 shares in an hour. Riots flared in Atlanta's streets, tires burning, chants of justice shaking windows. Kim's radio buzzed. Thornton suspended pending investigation. Nia's heart leapt, a rare grin breaking. Suspended. She'd cracked his armor. Kim paced, her bracelet clinking. They'll come for me, she said, voice trembling. Nia nodded, grim. Stay low, they'll dig, but this holds. She pictured Thornton's red face, his badge tarnished, Vance's frost melting. The riots were chaos, bottles smashing, sirens wailing, but power. Her power. Malik's death fueled her. Kim's risk cemented it. She'd sleep tonight. Ribs. Easing the USB safe. Tomorrow she'd push harder. Sue, expose Vance's donor, rebuild. For Maya, for Malik, for every black soul Thornton crushed. Sleep came, fitful on a lumpy cot, the fans hum a lullaby. Nia dreamed of Maya's hug, free from this nightmare. A thud woke her, 3 a.m., Kim's scream piercing the quiet. Nia bolted up, ribs howling, and stumbled to the living room. Kim lay sprawled, a pill bottle spilled, foam at her lips, dead. Nia's knees buckled, grief slamming her anew. A note sat pinned. I couldn't take it, sorry. Nia's gut screamed. Wrong. Staged. Vance's hand, not Kim's despair. The TV flickered. A news alert. Whistleblower Kim Reynolds found dead. Suicide after Carter leak. Vance's voice followed, cold. Reynolds fabricated the footage. Thornton's reinstated. Nia's breath stopped. Fabricated. The body cam was real. Kim's proof solid. Vance had killed her, staged it, flipped the narrative. Riots quieted. Schmuck Thornton lies drowned by Carter's hoax. Thornton's face returned, smug. She's a liar. We'll get her. Nia's hands shook, rage swallowing shock. Kim, gone, her bravery erased, her death a lie. Sirens wailed, close. Kim's duplex now a target. Nia grabbed the USB, fleeing through a back window as cop lights flashed. 96 degrees outside. The night a furnace, her arm pulsing with fever. She hit an alley, gravel cutting her bare feet, ribs cracking with each gasp. The radio in her pocket buzzed. Thornton leads task force, shoot to kill orders for Nia Carter. Nia's blood chilled. Reinstated wasn't enough. He'd hunt. Her armed with Vance's blessing, military gear glinting in her mind. She ducked behind a shed, its wood splintered, the city's pulse loud. Horns, shouts, distant gunfire. Kim's foam-flecked lips burned in her vision, Malik's blood merging with hers. Vance's frame was steel, suicide, discredited footage, Thornton unleashed. The riots had been her win, suspension her blade. Now it was ash. Thornton's boots, louder, deadlier. Her ankle buckled, blood soaking her sleeve, but her eyes blazed. They'd taken Malik Kim, her name. She'd take their world brick by brick. Nia limped toward Old Fourth Ward. Shadows her cloak, 94 degrees pressing her down. The USB was her torch, the body cam her ghost. Thornton's task force wasn't cops. It was executioners, Vance's. Racism their fuel. She'd thought the leak was checkmate, his suspension the end. Now it was a war cry, their guns cocked. Maya's face grounded her, brown eyes, fierce, trusting. Nia wouldn't die here, not yet. She'd find Rhea, leak again, fight smarter. This wasn't surrender, it was reload. The shed's shade hid her, a brief gasp of air. Her ribs were knives, her arm a furnace, but her mind ticked, relentless. Thornton's laugh, Vance's poise. They'd misjudged her again. She'd cracked missiles in flight, outrun drones. This was bigger, bloodier, but she'd crack it too. The USB pressed, a vow. Malik's death, Kim's sacrifice, her pain. She'd wield it, burn them. Atlanta loomed, a battlefield, and Nia Carter was no prey. She was the storm, gathering, ready to strike. Nia Carter slumped against a rusted dumpster in Old Fourth Ward. The alley's shadows her only shield. Atlanta's night was a sauna, 95 degrees, the air thick with exhaust and despair. Her arm festered, infections swelling under blood-crusted cloth. Her ribs a cage of pain from Kim's loss and Thornton's hunt. The USB with her Pentagon log pressed against her ankle, a ember in the dark. But Kim staged suicide, and Malik's blood weighed heavier. Thornton's task force roamed, shoot to kill orders echoing on stolen radios. She needed a weapon, digital, sharp, now. A name surfaced, Jaden Pierce, a hacker she'd met through Rhea, the whistleblower from Part 8. Mid-20s, brilliant, reckless. He'd cracked Pentagon firewalls for fun before going dark. Nia limped to a payphone, its plastic scorched by summer heat, and dialed a burner number Rhea had slipped her. Jaden answered, voice low, clipped. Carter, you're a ghost. Nia's throat rasped dry. I've got Vance's emails. Pure heritage. Gentrification, can you break it? A pause, then a laugh. Meet me. West End, old warehouse, 2 a.m. alive. The trek was brutal. 6 miles, her ankle buckling, ribs stabbing, 94 degrees clinging like tar. She dodged drones, their hum a predator's growl, Thornton's eyes in the sky. The warehouse loomed, a brick husk with shattered windows, graffiti screaming, "Resist!" Jaden waited inside, lanky, dreads loose, his laptop glowing on a crate. 90 degrees in here, fans dead, but his grin was alive. "Damn, you're a mess," he said, tossing her water. Nia caught it, wincing, and pulled the USB. Vance's game, expose it. Jaden plugged in, screens flashing. Emails from Part 5, untouched by Holt's sabotage, plus Kim's bodycam files. He dug deeper, cracking Vance's private server with a smirk. "Goldmine," he muttered. Messages spilled. Vance to Pure Heritage's head. Carter's the scapegoat. Clearvine City. Profits ours. Another. Thornton's in. Kill her if she talks. Nia's blood surged, her ribs forgotten. Gentrification wasn't rumor. It was their endgame, her crimes the excuse to raise black homes. Jaden's fingers danced, pulling maps, deeds, millions in play. "This is war," he said. "We hit 'em public. They planned fast. Crash a city council meeting tomorrow, downtown." Jaden knew the stream codes. Nia had the voice. She'd speak, masked. The emails her blade. The warehouse buzzed. Jaden rigging a projector, Nia scripting. "Vance and Thornton framed me to steal our streets." Her arm burned, fever spiking, but adrenaline dulled it. Jaden hacked the council's Wi-Fi, grinning. They'll never see it coming. Nia nodded, picturing Vance's frost shatter, Thornton's red face pale. By midnight, they were set, data locked, plan tight. She'd win this round. Dawn broke, 96 degrees, the city simmering. Nia and Jaden slipped into the council chamber, a glass dome packed with suits and cameras. She wore a scarf, hood up, Jaden blending with tech crew. The mayor droned, about budgets oblivious. Jaden hit play, screens flared, Vance's emails blazing. "Carter's a tool, bulldoze Vine City." Gasps rippled, councillors froze. Nia stepped up, voice raw. "I'm Nia Carter. This is their lie." The maps flashed, black blocks marked for erasure, Pure Heritage's cache traced. The room erupted, shouts, phones filming. The mayor, a wiry man with grey curls, banged his gavel. "Order!" he barked, then softer. "Carter?" Nia nodded, scarf slipping, her face bare. "I'm no terrorist. They framed me for profit." Jaden looped the footage. Thornton's baggy, Vance's orders. The councillors paled, murmurs swelling. "This is damning," the mayor said, halting the gentrification vote. Protests cheered outside, Nia's truth ringing. Nia's chest lifted, ribs easing. Praise from the mayor, a tide turning. She'd struck gold, Thornton and Vance reeling. Jaden tugged her sleeve, eyes sharp. "We're out now." They slipped through a side door, the crowd's roar fading. Nia's fever spiked, 98 degrees. Outside, her arm a furnace. She'd won briefly. Council stalled, Vance exposed. Thornton's task force would falter, his suspension looming again. She pictured Maya, safe, smiling. Jaden grinned, reckless. "You're a legend, Carter." Nia laughed. Faint, her first in weeks. They split, her to a safe house, him to vanish. She'd hide, let the story grow, then strike deeper. Night fell, 95 degrees, Nia holed up in a friend's attic fan whirring at 70 degrees. Her arm pulsed, blood seeping, but hope flickered. The council win was hers, Vance's. Plan dead, Thornton's badge at risk. She slept, dreaming of Maya's hug, free from this hell. A scream woke her, Jaden's voice, garbled, on a stolen radio. Nia bolted up, ribs cracking, and tuned in. Static cleared. Carter planned a City Hall bombing, video proof. Her stomach dropped. Video? She'd done nothing, Jaden. The TV blared. A newsfeed. Nia Carter's terror plot. Hacker confesses. Jaden's face filled the screen, bruised, eyes hollow, reading a script. Nia ordered me to bomb the council. I'm sorry. Nia's knees buckled, grief slamming. Her? Thornton's work. Jayden kidnapped, forced, his defiance broken. The anchor cut to Thornton. She's an extremist. Bounties up, dead or alive. Nia's breath stopped. Bounties, civilian hunters, millions chasing her. The council wind flipped, her truth a lie again. She stumbled to the attic window, 94 degrees pressing in, her arm trembling. Jayden's voice, coerced, shattered, echoed Malik's fall. Kim's foam-flecked lips. Thornton had snatched. Beaten him, staged this. Vance's frost loomed behind it, her gentrification scam shielded. X exploded. Carter extremist trending. Bounties at 50,000. Rising. The mayor's praise turned to silence, protests drowned by hate. Nia's ribs ached, her fever spiking, but her eyes burned. They'd taken Jayden, twisted her victory. She'd take it back. The attic creaked, her friend asleep below, unaware. Nia checked the USB, safe, her ember. Jayden's bruises flashed, Thornton's fists, his gloat. He'd never stop, Vance his shield, racism their fuel. The council had been her checkmate, halting their plan. Now it was a death warrant, bounties a noose. She'd thought she'd won, turned the tide. Thornton's video crushed it, Jayden's blood the price. Maya's face grounded her, fierce, trusting. Nia wouldn't break, not yet. She slipped downstairs, grabbing a knife, water, her friend's spare hoodie. 96 degrees outside, the city a furnace, but she moved. Alleys, shadows, a hunted thing. Thornton's task force was cops. Bounties were chaos, hunters, vigilantes, greed. Jayden's confession was fake, but millions believed it. Vance's spin ironclad. The USB pressed. A vow. Malik, Kim, Jayden, her pain. She'd wield it. Gut. Them. Atlanta loomed, a war zone, and Nia Carter was no prey. She was the storm, brewing, ready to roar. Nia Carter crouched in a rural cabin 30 miles north of Atlanta, the pine walls creaking under a 92-degree night. The air was thick with sap and dust, a single bulb swaying overhead, casting jagged shadows. Her arm festered, a throbbing, mass of blood and pus under a rag, her ribs a lattice of pain from Jayden's loss and Thornton's bounties. The USB with her Pentagon log pressed against her ankle, a lifeline stained with Malik's blood, Kim's sacrifice, Jayden's bruises. She was a ghost now, hunted by civilians, cops, and worse. The cabin belonged to Rhea, her whistleblower ally from Part 8, who'd slipped her the key before vanishing. No power, no signal, just a battery radio and a laptop hooked to a jerry-rigged solar panel. Nia's fever spiked, 98 degrees inside, sweat beading on her brow, but her fingers flew. She'd hacked a satellite feed, risky, draining the battery, posting on X from a ghost account. I'm Nia Carter. Vance and Thornton framed me. Demand an FBI probe. The USB's log backed her, timestamp glowing, her call to General Ellis, untouchable truth. Posts exploded. Probe Nia trending, 10,000 shares in an hour. Supporters rallied, digital voices shouting, she's innocent. Thornton's a liar. Nia's chest lifted, ribs easing despite the ache. Bounties loomed, 50,000 climbing, but this was a shield. By dawn, the radio crackled. FBI opens inquiry into Nia Carter case. Thornton's task force paused. Paused, not dead. Nia exhaled, a rare breath of hope. The cabin's solitude, its 70-degree chill from a cracked window, felt like a fortress. She'd won a reprieve, small but real. She pictured Maya safe with a professor. Maybe hearing this. Thornton's red face would twist, Vance's frost cracking. The probe could dig. Emails, body cam, Jayden's forced video. Nia sipped stale. Water, her arm pulsing, infection spreading, but her mind sharpened. She'd rest, heal, let the FBI grind. The laptop's battery blinked, 10%, but she posted again. Truth's out. Keep pushing. Views hit 50,000. Protests. Flaring in Atlanta's streets, she slept, dreaming of Maya's laugh, free from this hell, the USB her anchor. A roar shattered the quiet. 3 a.m. Engines growling outside. Nia bolted up, ribs screaming, and peeked through a splintered shutter. Headlights stabbed the dark. 4. Trucks, black unmarked, men spilling out. Not cops, mercenaries, ex-Blackwater types, camo vests glinting, rifles slung. Vance's hand, not Thornton's. Her stomach dropped, fever spiking to 100 degrees, sweat soaking her hoodie. The probe had rattled them, paused the task force, so Vance went rogue. Killers for hire, no badges, no rules. Flames erupted, a mercenary wielding a flamethrower, its roar deafening. Fire licked the cabin's walls, 92 degrees outside, spiking to 200 inside. Nia dove, the USB digging into her ankle, as wood splintered, glass popped. Smoke choked her thick and black, her lungs seizing. She crawled, ribs cracking, arm bleeding fresh from a shard's graze. The mercenaries shouted, "Burn her out!" Their voices clipped, professional. Vance wasn't framing her now. She was. Tracing her ash to ash, Nia grabbed the laptop, its case hot, and kicked a back hatch, pine cracking under her boot. The night was a furnace, flames dancing on trees, 95 degrees blending with fire's heat. She ran, bare feet blistering on pine needles, her hoodie catching embers. A mercenary loomed, his flamethrower raised, 6 feet tall, scarred face, eyes dead. Nia ducked, rolling into a ditch, mud cooling her burns. The USB stayed taped, her pulse its rhythm. She couldn't lose it, not after Malik, Kim, Jaden. Gunfire cracked, bullets chewing bark above her head. Nia scrambled, ditch mud sucking her. Shoes, her arm a throbbing mess. The cabin blazed, a pyre lighting the woods, 94 degrees outside, now a hellscape. She hit a creek, water knee-deep, 60 degrees shocking her fevered skin. The mercenaries fanned out, flashlights sweeping, 5, 10, relentless. Vance's orders echoed in her skull, kill her, bury her, end this. Nia waded, ribs howling. Blood trailing, the USB her vow. The creek curved, pines thickening, shielding her. Nia climbed a bank, her ankle twisting, pain a white flare. The mercenaries lagged, their fire dying as the cabin collapsed, a smoldering ruin. She stumbled into a clearing, breath ragged, her arm dripping red. The laptop hung heavy, screen cracked but alive, 5% battery. She'd escaped, barely, the USB intact. Vance's strike had failed, her killers thwarted. Nia's fever. Burned 101 degrees, but her eyes blazed. She'd live, fight, strike back. Morning broke, grey and humid, 93 degrees pressing the woods. Nia, slumped against a stump, tuned the radio, its static faint. News hit hard. Atlanta bombing, Carter linked to blast. Her breath stopped. Bombing? She'd been here running, not planting. The anchor droned. Feds confirm Carter's a serial terrorist. Explosion at a precinct, 3 dead. Nia's knees buckled, grief slamming her. Vance's mercs had planted it, pinned it. A real blast, real blood, her name the lie. The FBI's voice followed. Kill order issued. Shoot on sight. Her hands shook, the radio slipping. Vance had flipped the probe. Thornton's paws her cue. The cabin siege wasn't enough. They'd bombed a precinct, framed her, turned hope to ash. X would explode. Or Carter terrorist trending, bounties soaring past 100,000. Maya's face flashed, trust fading, her mama killer. Nia's ribs cracked with a sob, her arm pulsing, blood mixing with creek mud. The USB pressed her last thread, but useless now. Feds didn't care about logs, only bombs. She stood, staggering, the woods a blur, pines, birds, 95 degrees wrapping her tight. Her hoodie hung in tatters, burns blistering her legs. Her fever a furnace. The probe had been her win. Thornton's task force stalled, supporters her shield. Now it was a death sentence, Vance's bomb her noose. The mercenaries' flamethrowers felt tame. This was global, lethal, her name a curse. She pictured Thornton's gloat, Vance's poise. They'd misjudged her, but won this round. Nia limped toward a road, gravel cutting her feet, her arm a throbbing mass. Blood trailed, a red map, her vision blurring. She needed shelter, a signal, a voice. Rhea, Bell, anyone. The radio buzzed, faint. Carter's spree, more targets expected. Spree. She'd done nothing, yet millions believed. It Vance's spin ironclad. The USB was her ember, Malik's blood, Kim's sacrifice, Jaden's bruises, her pain. She'd wield it, gut them somehow. Atlanta's sprawl loomed, a war zone, and she was its prey. The road stretched, empty, 96 degrees baking the eye. Asphalt. Nia's ribs were knives, her arm a pulsing wound, but her mind ticked, relentless. Thornton's task force was paused, but Vance's mercs were free, killers with no leash. She'd rallied the crowd, forced the probe, thought she'd turned it. Now it was rubble, bodies pinned on her. Maya grounded her, fierce, trusting. Nia wouldn't die here, not yet. She'd run, hide, strike, the storm brewing unbroken. Nia Carter staggered through Atlanta's backroads, the asphalt scorching her blistered feet at 97 degrees. Blood dripped from her arm, a crimson trail from the mercenary siege, her ribs a jagged cage of pain under a tattered hoodie. The USB with her Pentagon log pressed against her ankle, a lifeline soaked in Malik's blood, Kim's sacrifice, Jaden's bruises, now her only shield against Vance's serial terrorist label. The precinct bombing pinned on her echoed on a EE. Stolen radio, 3 dead, her name a curse. She was prey, hunted by bounties, feds, and rage. Her fever burned, 102 degrees, sweat blinding her, but a name cut through. Carla Evans, a TV anchor she'd met at a tech panel, sharp, trusted, unafraid. Nia limped to a payphone. It's metal hot and dialed a tip line from memory, coins scavenged from a ditch. Carla's voice answered, crisp. "Who's this?" Nia rasped. "Carla, it's Nia Carter. I've got proof. Vance Thornton, the bombing's a lie. Can you air it?" A pause, then a breath. Studio. Midnight. Be alive. The studio was downtown, 8 miles, a gauntlet of drones and bounty hunters. Nia moved, shadows her cloak, 96 degrees pressing her down, her arm a throbbing mass. Ribs cracked with each step, blood seeping through the rag, but Carla was her shot. Live TV, millions watching, the USB's truth unfiltered. She dodged a pickup, its driver eyeing her, bounty glinting in his stare. Her hood slipped, her face bare, but she pushed on. The city's hum a predator's growl, cars, sirens, distant shouts. The studio loomed, a glass tower aglow, 95 degrees outside, its lobby chilled at 68. Nia slipped in, hood low, a janitor's mop masking. Her shuffle. Carla waited in a side room, mid-40s, braids tight, eyes piercing behind glasses. "You look like death," she said, voice soft but firm. Nia sank onto a chair, ribs howling, and pulled the USB. Vance's emails, Thornton's frame, gentrification, murders, Mia's bait, air it live. Carla nodded, plugging it in, her screen flashing, Pure Heritage's cache, Thornton's baggie, Jaden's forced confession. They rigged the feed, Carla's late-night slot, unscripted, raw. Nia stood, scarf masking her face, voice steady despite the fever. The camera rolled, red light blinking. "I'm Nia Carter," she said, words cutting air. "Not a terrorist, not a killer, framed by Vance and Thornton to steal black homes." The screen. Flared emails, maps, deeds, Thornton's laugh on body cam. This is their lie. Atlanta watched, millions glued, X erupting, Nia speaks trending, 10,000 shares in minutes. Carla's nod was steel. "Keep going," she whispered. The broadcast. Hit hard. Crowd stormed City Hall, chants shaking glass. "Free Nia. End the lies." Nia's chest swelled, ribs easing, fever dulled by adrenaline. Protesters waved signs, phones live-streaming, a tide turning. The mayor's voice crackled on Carla's monitor. "Thornton's arrest imminent." Nia's knees trembled, hope surging. Malik's blood, Kim's foam, Jaden's bruises. This honored them, gutted Vance, burned Thornton. She pictured Maya safe, smiling, the USB her sword. The studio's cool air wrapped her, 65 degrees, a rare balm. She'd won, turned it. Carla squeezed her arm, eyes warm. "You did it, Nia. We're live. Keep the pressure on." Nia nodded, scarf slipping, her face bare now, raw truth for the world. The feed rolled, her voice rising. "They killed my friends, framed me, bombed a precinct, stop them." The crowd roared, a sea of fists, sirens wailing as cops scrambled. Nia's fever spiked, 103 degrees, But she stood tall. Ribs forgotten. Thornton's red face would crumple. Vance's frost shatter. This was her moment. Justice clawing free. The screen flickered. Static slashing her words. Nia froze. Carla cursing. What the hell? The feed cut, then rebooted. Nia's face back, but wrong. A deep fake. Her voice warped. I bombed the precinct. I'll hit City Hall next. Death to cops. Nia's stomach dropped, the studio silent, Carla's gasp loud. Thornton's hack, his task force, paused but not dead, striking digital. The crowd's cheers turned to screams, X flipping. Nia terrorist trending again, 50,000 shares. Nia's knees buckled, grief slamming her. Her win, stolen, twisted. Carla lunged for the controls, shouting, Cut it! It's fake! But her, hands shook, her eyes darting, too quick. Nia's gut twisted, wrong staged. Carla's warmth chilled, her glasses glinting cold. You're with Vance, Nia whispered, ribs flaring as she backed away. Carla's lips curled, a blade unveiled. Smart, Carter, she said, pulling a phone. Vance says hi. She'd played Nia, lured her, aired the USB, then flipped it. The deep fake was theirs. Carla the mole, leaking Nia's spot. Glass shattered, the studio's side door bursting. Mob voices roared, kill her. Fists pounding walls, phones filming. Nia ran, ribs cracking, arm bleeding fresh, Carla's laugh trailing. She hit a stairwell, 94 degrees outside. Her fever a furnace. The crowd swarmed, 100 strong, chanting her death. Killer Carter, their hymn. Thornton's hack had turned them, Vance's plant sealing it. Nia's scarf fell, her face bare for their hate, bottles smashing near her. Head. She needed out now. The stairs ended at a warehouse, a brick tomb attached to the studio, 93 degrees inside, air stale with oil and rust. Nia bolted in, slamming a steel door, its clang echoing. The mob pounded, wood splintering, voices. A tidal wave. She's in there, burn it. Their phones a forest of lenses. Nia's breath rasped, her arm a pulsing wound, blood pooling on concrete. The USB pressed. Her ember, but useless. Carla's betrayal. Thornton's deep fake. Vance's trap. She'd rallied the crowd, thought she'd won. Now it was her pyre. She barricaded the door, crates, pipes, her ribs screaming as she shoved. The mob's roar grew, glass breaking, 96 degrees outside feeding their fury. Nia's fever hit 104 degrees, her vision blurring, but her mind ticked, exit, fight, survive. A window loomed, high, cracked. She'd climb, run, live. Maya's face grounded her, fierce, trusting, fading. The USB was her vow. Malik, Kim, Jaden, her pain. She'd wield it, gut them somehow. The warehouse trembled, a mob's fist, and Nia Carter stood, storm unbroken, ready to claw free. Nia Carter shoved a steel crate against the warehouse door, her ribs screaming as wood splintered under the mob's fists. Atlanta's night was a furnace, 96 degrees, the air thick with oil and rage inside the brick tomb. Her arm bled. A pulsing wound from the studio escape, fever scorching her at 104 degrees, sweat blinding her eyes. The USB with her Pentagon log pressed against her ankle, a lifeline through Malik's blood, Kim's sacrifice, Jaden's bruises, her last stand against Carla's betrayal, and Thornton's deepfake. The mob chanted, "Kill her!" 100 voices strong, phones filming her doom. She piled pipes, crates, anything, her barricade shaky but holding. The mob's roar shook the walls, glass shattering, 95 degrees outside feeding their fury. Nia's cracked laptop from the mercenary siege sat on a dusty shelf, its battery at 5%, solar patch flickering. She booted it, fingers trembling, and tapped a satellite feed, hacked, desperate, her voice to the world. The live stream flared, X lighting up. Nia Carter, live, truth now. She faced the camera, hood down, face bare, blood streaking her cheek. "I'm no terrorist," she rasped. "Vance and Thornton framed me. Here's proof. The USB plugged in, emails flashing, Vance's pure heritage cache, Thornton's baggie, Jaden's forced confession. Her words cut, raw. They killed my friends. Bombed a precinct, pinned it on me. This ends now. Views spiked. 10,000, 50,000, a digital tide. Nia's ribs cracked with each breath. Her arm a throbbing mass, but her eyes burned. The mob pounded, a crate buckling, but the stream held. Nia lives trending, supporters shouting back. She pictured Maya, fierce, watching, and General Ellis, her Pentagon ace, seeing this plea. A chopper's thrum cut the night. Blades slicing air, 94 degrees outside, trembling under its roar. Nia peeked, a Black Hawk, matte black, descending fast. The mob scattered, phones dropping as ropes fell, soldiers repelling, Air Force, Ellis's men. Relief surged, her knees buckling, but she stood, ribs howling. A captain hit the ground. Voice clipped. Colonel Carter, we're extraction, Ellis's orders. Nia nodded, grabbing the laptop, USB taped tight, and climbed the rope, her arm bleeding fresh, fever a furnace. The chopper lifted, Atlanta shrinking below, a war zone she'd escaped. The cabin hummed 60 degrees inside, a stark shift from the warehouse's heat. Nia slumped in a seat, soldiers silent, their rifles glinting. The captain patched her arm, gauze, antiseptic, pain flaring as blood slowed. General Ellis's voice crackled through. Nia, your stream hit us. I'm pulling you to D.C. She exhaled, ribs easing. The USB had worked. Ellis her shield, Thornton's task force, Vance's mercs, paused by this. She pictured Maya, safe, smiling, the mob's hate drowned by rotor wash. She'd won briefly, soaring free. The chopper banked 93 degrees outside, stars blurring over Georgia's pines. A flash lit the sky, missile streaking, Vance's claw striking back. Nia's scream drowned as the tail exploded, metal twisting, the Black Hawk spinning wild. Soldiers shouted, the captain gripping her. We're hit. Nia clung, ribs cracking, the USB digging into her ankle. The chopper crashed, trees snapping, 92 degrees outside, swallowing the wreckage in rural Georgia's dark. Smoke choked, her blood pooling, her arm, her leg, fresh cuts. But she lived, crawling free. Pine needles stabbed her hands, her fever 105 degrees, the laptop gone in the blaze. Nia staggered, ribs a furnace, the USB her pulse. The captain groaned, pinned, soldiers still, 3 dead, 2 alive, fading. She limped, blood trailing, 91 degrees cooling the night, but her eyes scanned. Vance's mole, Thornton's reach, had tracked her. The missile was no fluke, military grade, aimed to erase her. Ellis's rescue be damned. She needed ground, allies now. A town loomed, Madison, 10 miles east, 90 degrees pressing its quiet streets. Nia reached it, dawn breaking, her arm a throbbing mess, ribs knives with each step. Protesters rallied, 50 strong, black fists raised, signs screaming Nia's truth, drawn by her stream. They saw her, blood-soaked, staggering, and surged, shielding her with bodies, phones filming. She's alive, a woman shouted, voice fierce. Nia's chest swelled, fever dulling. She wasn't alone. The crowd chanted, Free Nia! A wall against Vance's lies, Thornton's hunt. Sirens wailed, Thornton's task force storming in. Riot gear, rifles, his red face, leading badge glinting fake. Nia froze, the crowd tightening, her ribs cracking as she stood tall. He's got a bomb, Thornton roared, pointing, his lie bold. Nia's blood chilled, another frame live deadly. She lunged, Air Force reflexes sharp, and tackled him, her arm bleeding, fever spiking. The crowd gasped, phones rolling, as she twisted his arm, ripping his badge free. They'd clattered, militia insignia underneath. No cop, a fraud, unmasked. Nia held it high, voice raw. He's militia, not police. Pure Heritage's thug. The live stream soared. Thornton fake trending, 100,000 views in minutes. Thornton flailed, red face purpling, but the crowd surged, pinning his men, their rifles useless. Nia's ribs buckled, her arm a pulsing wound, but she stood, badge aloft, blood dripping. Protesters cheered, a sea of fists, sirens fading as Thornton's squad broke. The USB pressed, her proof live. Vance's missile, his militia, exposed. She'd disarmed him, turned it, won this clash. Madison's streets trembled. 93 degrees baking the dawn, the crowd her shield. Nia's fever hit 106 degrees, her vision blurring but her eyes burned. Thornton cuffed, his gloat dead. Vance's trap cracked. The Black Hawk's wreck smoked in her mind. Ellis's men lost, her pain a vow. Malik, Kim, Jaden, now soldiers. She'd wield it, gut them. The crowd chanted, phones filming, a tide she'd turned. Maya grounded her, fierce, trusting, alive. Nia wouldn't fall, not yet. She was the storm, raging, unbroken. Nia Carter stood amidst Madison's dawn, the Georgia air a heavy 94 degrees, her blood-soaked hoodie clinging to her battered frame. The crowd's roar shook the streets, 50 strong, now swelling to hundreds, phones aloft, live streaming. Her defiance as Thornton's militia badge glinted in her hand. Her arm throbbed, infection raging under a crust of gauze. Her ribs a lattice of agony from the chopper crash, fever scorching her at 106 degrees. The USB pressed against her ankle, her Pentagon log a beacon through Malik's blood. Kim's sacrifice, Jaden's bruises, now her triumph's key. The livestream soared. Thornton fake trending globally, 1 million views in minutes, X ablaze with Nia's truth. The crowd chanted, fists raised, a wall of black and brown bodies shielding her from the task force's retreat. Thornton flailed, cuffed by his own men, his red face a mask of fury, militia insignia bare for the world. Nia's voice rasped. Raw, he's no cop. Pure Heritage's thug framing me for their war. Phones caught it. The feed spreading, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera. Her truth a tidal wave, drowning his lies. Helicopters thrummed, not Vance's drones, but federal FBI, descending fast, rotors slicing 93-degree heat. Agents spilled out. Rifles glinting, badges real, not Thornton's fraud. A captain, stern, grey-haired, barked, Thornton, you're done, treason, murder, conspiracy. Handcuffs snapped, his gloat silenced, his squad disarmed by the crowd's surge. Nia's knees trembled, relief sharp. She'd unmasked him live, turned the tide. The captain nodded to her. Colonel Carter, stand by, Pentagon's tracing Vance. Her chest lifted, ribs easing despite the pain. Ellis had delivered. The feed cut to breaking news. Ellen Vance, fleeing on a yacht off Savannah, 92 degrees baking the coast. Nia watched, slumped against a protester's shoulder, as coast. Guard choppers swarmed, agents boarding, her frost shattered. Vance's voice crackled, defiant. You'll pay, Carter. But cuffs clicked, her pure heritage cache exposed. Treason, not just framing, her gentrification scam a federal crime. Nia's fever dulled, 105 degrees, her arm bleeding fresh. But her eyes burned. Vance's downfall, Thornton's cage, her name clearing. Days blurred, hospitals, IVs, 70-degree rooms chilling her fever to 99 degrees. Nia woke in Atlanta General, ribs taped, arm stitched, the USB safe with Ellis's team. News looped, Thornton jailed, Vance indicted, Pure Heritage's accounts frozen. Cybertech called, voice sheepish. Dr. Carter, you're rehired. Full reinstatement. Back pay. Nia's throat tightened, relief bitter. She'd lost Malik, Kim, Jaden, nearly Maya for this. Her daughter's call came sobbing, Mom, you're free. Nia smiled, faint. Maya's trust her anchor through the scars. Weeks later, Nia stood at a reform summit in D.C., 90 degrees outside, the auditorium cool at 68 degrees, packed with suits, activists, cameras. Her blazer was crisp, new, no blood, her arm scarred but steady, ribs healed enough to breathe. The USB's log had cleared her, Pentagon verified, charges dropped, her name a rallying cry. She spoke, voice firm. I'm Nia Carter, Colonel, survivor not. A terrorist, not a victim. Racism framed me, killed my friends, stole my life. We reform this or it festers. Applause thundered, 1 million streams live, her words a torch. The crowd rose, chanting, Nia! Nia! Black fists, white hands, a tide she'd turned. She pictured Malik's wrench, Kim's drive, Jaden's hack, her pain, their legacy. Thornton rotted in a cell. Vance faced trial. Pure Heritage's empire cracked. Nia's firm sent. Contracts, Maya texted pride from Spellman. Ellis saluted via video. Colonel, your steel. Her chest swelled, ribs quiet. The summit's cool air a balm. She'd won, cleared, rehired, inspiring millions. Justice clawed from blood and ash. She stepped off stage, 91 degrees hitting her as doors opened. DC's humidity thick. Thou stranger brushed past, mid-30s, unremarkable. Grey shirt, blank stare. His hand slipped her a note, paper crisp, then he vanished into the crowd. Nia unfolded it, pulse spiking. The militia's bigger than Thornton. Her breath stopped. The summit's cheers fading, 90 degrees pressing her scars. Bigger? Thornton was a pawn, Vance a blade. But this? A shadow loomed, deeper, uncaught. Nia froze, the note trembling in her grip, her arm scar itching under the blazer. The crowd chanted oblivious, phones filming her as a hero. Nia strong trending, 1 million shares. Her fever was gone, ribs steady, but her eyes scanned, rooftops. Faces, exits, Ellis's choppers, the FBI, her stream. They'd crushed Thornton, Vance, but not this. Pure heritage was a root, not the tree. Maya's laugh grounded her, fierce, trusting. But this note was a crack, a war unended. She slipped, the note into her pocket, the summit's cool air, a memory. 93 degrees wrapping her tight. Her blazer felt heavy, not armor now, a target. Thornton's red face flashed, Vance's frost, but they were puppets, strings uncut. The USB had won this battle, log verified, lives avenged, but the note whispered more. Malik, Kim, Jaden, just the start. Nia's jaw clenched, her eyes steel. She'd fought drones, mobs, missiles. This was bigger, darker, but she'd fight it too. The crowd pressed, hands shaking hers, voices praising. You're a legend, Nia. But her mind churned. The note's ink burned. Whose hand, whose war? She'd cleared her name, rehired, inspired. But this shadow loomed. Racism's root, systemic, alive. Maya's future, her people's lives hung on it. Nia stepped into DC's sprawl, 94 degrees baking the concrete, her scars a map, arm, ribs, soul. She wasn't done, not broken, not prey. She was the storm gathering, ready for the next fight. Nia Carter's journey reveals raw truths about resilience, systemic racism, and the power of unyielding resolve. First, her story underscores that racism isn't just personal slurs. It's a machine, grinding through institutions like police, media and courts, framing innocents like Nia with fabricated crimes. Her fight against Thornton and Vance shows how deeply entrenched prejudice manipulates power, turning allies into enemies and truth into lies. Yet, her survival proves that one voice, armed with evidence and grit, can crack that machine even when it retaliates with drones and mobs. Second, Nia's losses, Malik, Kim, Jaden, teach the brutal cost of standing up. Justice demands sacrifice, often paid in blood. Her ability to rally supporters, from live streams to protests, highlights the strength of collective outrage against oppression. Third, the note at the end, the militia's bigger than Thornton, warns that victories are fleeting. Racism's roots run deeper than any single villain. A shadow fight Nia must continue. Her story isn't just survival. It's a call to question who pulls the strings behind the badges and bombs. Nia's lesson is clear. Resilience isn't enough without vigilance, and truth requires relentless pursuit no matter the scars. What would you do if your life was twisted by lies like Nia's? Comment below if you'd fight back. Hit like if her courage moves you. Subscribe for more stories of defiance and share to spread her truth. Thanks for joining this journey. May you find strength to challenge injustice wherever it hides.